I think the best time for you to do anything is when you're ready. When you're ready in your heart.
Hello and welcome to Change in the Market, your mindful guide to the ever-changing real estate world. My name is Peyton Beck. I'm over here at Masiello HQ, and though I may be new, I am joined by somebody who is not. He is our resident real estate expert, CEO, author, Mr. Chris Masiello. How are you today, Chris?
Hey, Peyton. Good to be with you and good to be with the community, and welcome. It's fun that we're doing this together.
Yeah, no, it's a cool it's a change of pace, which is always really fun. All right, so before we get going, I wanted to take a beat for anybody new here to talk about kind of what we do here in Change and the Market. What we try to do is we accomplish three things each episode. The first thing is we talk about what's new in the market. Second, we address what that really means for industry professionals and honestly anybody who is a homeowner or invested in real estate in any way. And then lastly, we take a look at what personal lessons we can learn from those changes to kind of build our change arsenal, if you will. We've talked a lot on this show about the idea that change is an ever-present pool of opportunity as long as you know how to face that. So we try to help you guys build up that toolkit. So without further ado, Chris, what do you got for us this week?
Yeah, well, that was great, Peyton. I think that's a good reminder, like why we do this. It's such a good reminder, like just in life in general, like why are we doing this again? So it was a slow news week, with the holiday and all that. One thing that came out last week that I thought was really interesting, I was talking about inflation. And of course, inflation is directly tied to interest rates, right? You raise interest rates to cool off the economy, which then lowers inflation. And you have inflation in the economy because goods and services are costing more because they're producing more, they're in greater demand, right? But core inflation, when you take housing out of it, is really pretty low. And housing, I think especially being a practitioner, I think we forget this. Like housing in general, people buying and selling houses, building houses, going to Home Depot, buying drapes, carpet, and all that. It's 1/3 of the gross domestic product, GDP, of the country. It's a full third. So when something's off in housing, it tends to tilt like the whole economy. And we have inflation, housing impacting inflation, better way of saying it. It's really caused by we haven't produced a lot of homes in the last 15 years to keep pace with the population. And again, that's not going to change really anytime soon. And I think, one of the things that I was, when I was kind of making notes for our time together, is that this is the environment we have. And of course, that's true of every environment, right? I mean, any moment in time, it's the moment you got. And so you have to figure out how to make it work. I think that applies here. This is the market we have. Whether you're a buyer, a seller, an investor, or a practitioner, this is the market. It's a pretty good market. If you're waiting for something to change dramatically to make a decision, like interest rates going down or something, if you're waiting for any of those things, or if you're waiting for it to become a buyer's market, I always think that's kind of funny. Like I see that every now and then. Like you're gonna be waiting a while. I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. And so really, this is what we have, and make it work. And if you're waiting for some dramatic change in the environment, you're probably not going to have it.
That makes a lot of sense. It kind of echoes what we've been talking about, what we have been talking about. This show has been discussing for the last several weeks, right? So how would you encourage agents to approach their clients with that message?
Well, I'm going to kind of dovetail that question into what are the learnings that we take from this environment, right?
Sure.
Because I think it's all dovetails together pretty well. Markets, for example, or circumstances in life are really hard to time. You can't, everyone always tries to time markets, sell at the peak, buy at the bottom and all that. And you can kind of do that, but not accurately, right? And, it's kind of like in life, it's the same thing. You're like, well, when this happens, I'll be ready, or, whatever the case may be. But the reality of it is that I think the best time for you to do anything is when you're ready. When you're ready in your heart. And, don't go with your head, because your mind's going to create all sorts of stories. Interest rates have to be 4% before I buy a house, or, I've got to have this change in circumstance before I can go find that job, or whatever the case may be. And just feel your way through it with your heart. And that's when you're going to know when the right time to do something is. So, and I think that kind of really embodies this environment that we're in. Now, this environment's not going to change. So, if you're ready to buy a house or do whatever it is, if you're ready, go do it. If you're not ready, don't.
Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. There's a lot to be said about, fighting yourself, right? So often it's very funny I think it's important to note, like, obviously it's not make stupid choices because you're impulsive, right? It's when if you have the means and you're ready to do something, this is the time for you or your family or whatever your situation is. I think that's, it's very easy to let fear hold you back. And I think that's something we've all can probably look back and think like, oh, I really should have done that, right? I really should have done that, but I was just afraid. That's going to do it for us on today's episode of Change and the Market. As always, feel free to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed today's episode. Be sure to follow the Masiello Group and Chris Masiello on all of the main social platforms for more content like this. And I think that kind of wraps it up. So until next week, hope you all have a great time, and we'll see you later.
Good to be with you, Peyton. Nice job. And good to be with everybody. Have a great week. You're the boss right now.
Well, the other option is we could just try to switch places. Maybe you could try to be I could be the CEO for today. And then maybe that sounds cool.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah.